All right, welcome back to Bender Knows Best. What is it now? Goodness, the week has gone by so fast. I think it's like Thursday.
That's what happens when Philly wins the Super Bowl. Everyone goes crazy.
I mean, did you see the city? Shithole.
But I mean, in fairness, every city riots after they win or lose. Look at Vancouver after they lost to Boston.
Yeah,
Look at Maryland after any championship football game.
Hey, we don't ever want Maryland. We don't do anything wrong here. Ever.
No team ever riots except for Philly.
Never, just Philly. Been pisses in the street and eat shit, apparently. But, you went out of town, didn't you? How was that? How was your trip?
I went to Harry Potter World and tried to find a way to never come back. I literally just tried to stay in the park, but they kicked me out. I was drunk off butterbeer.
Did you buy any wine? I mean, wands.
Oh, we did. We bought one interactive and one non.
Okay. But I think were you at the All-Star? Was the All-Star break while you were gone? I think it was, and you came back.
No, I think that was 2 weekends ago because I believe I was in Shenandoah for that, down in Virginia.
Oh, okay. Well, a little stumble out of the block since they got back All-Star break.
Yeah, it's every team though. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, we specifically do not play well coming out of a break at all.
Never. We play horribly.
But luckily for the rest of the season, it doesn't look like we have more than a 2-3 day break ever.
Oh, good. We need to keep playing. Every time we slow down, every time we take even a short amount of break, it's all horrible.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like a lot of teams get it, but I feel like it's just way worse. For me, for the Caps, it's just horrible. I think there was I can't remember quote the stat off the top of my head, but it was just some horrific stat of us coming off anything like 3 day break. I
mean, no matter what kind of break it is, whether it's the off season, whether it's the All-Star break, whether it's the new bye week they're doing the last couple of years, every time coming out of it, we look horrible.
And they look way tan. I don't think hockey players should look that tan.
Well, I mean, not to mention, I think was it the Brohams, Wilson, Burakovsky, and somebody else went down the Bahamas together and had a nice little bro out weekend. But no, I mean, especially I think it's kind of a little bit of a interesting season at all, especially with the defense, the way it looks. I mean, time off just doesn't help when, we're trying to make up for other players.
Very true, especially with a couple of the injuries. Burakovsky essentially getting benched almost the whole third period last game. I
mean, I got to go with what Mikey usually says about that, though. He really is a head case. It's one of those things where he runs really hot or he runs really cold. And he's even said himself that he's, always kind of has a mental block about these kinds of things and, tries to get out of his own head. Trotz has mentioned it several times. But when he's hot, he's hot.
He is. He's like a better Verana.
Absolutely.
And it's sad he's bigger, faster.
Well, in fairness, I mean, Burakovsky's had a couple seasons to, kind of get used to it and, develop with the systems and everything like that. I mean, this is Verana's first full-time gig in the NHL. So, I mean, I expect him to stumble a little bit. I mean, I see little flashes of the way he plays and I don't mind it, but not consistent enough where I'm happy with it.
Oh, definitely agree. I'm definitely not overly thrilled at the play. And, I mean, the injury, of course, Burakovsky, I think he's slowly starting to show that he's an injury case. He seems to get hurt. I think concussion symptoms.
Well, back-to-back years has been his hand, hasn't it?
The seasons hurt hand or wrist, not games. I don't think.
No. I'm saying last season he hurt his hand as well. He broke his hand, and I think this time he broke a thumb or something. I think
it was his wrist last year and thumb this year.
Yeah, was it the same hand? I don't remember whether it was other ones.
I don't know.
But either way, yeah. I mean, hopefully that's not the case. I mean, especially the way he played in the playoffs last year, especially against the Penguins. I really expected him to take that mojo spot when we traded him. Yeah.
And it's shocking to see Tom Wilson actually doing a couple of things. At least, not I'm not lighting the world on fire for Tom, but he did pick up that bullet OV pass.
He learned to play hockey for a game. And and this is a constant thing that goes back and forth, especially in my apartment, because Fallon loves is a strong word, but likes Tom Wilson, but I think that's probably more for
she likes him real hard.
But I think it's more of the physicality aspect of his game, but I still can't get past as a first round bust for me when we could have had so many other people.
Apparently she likes husky men.
She does. She admits to being a chubby chaser. I'm just the prime beneficiary of this.
I don't think Tom is chubby, though.
Have you seen him without a shirt? I'm just kidding. No, he's ripped as shit.
I have.
No, but no,
I stalk him.
He has these rare flashes of him doing something good, and then it disappears for 45 games, and then something else miraculously happens.
Look, guys, I have soft mitts sometimes.
I think they actually tried to do the exact same play. Actually, no,
they did.
Yeah, they tried to do the exact same play again. And it did not work the second time.
No, not at all.
But no, when I watched that happen, I was actually kind of a little shocked that Wilson went with the backhand move. I thought he actually put that top shelf, which kind of impressed me a little more, and then I watched the replay and realized it never left the ice.
He went 5-hole.
Yeah, I was like, that's more about what I expect for Tom Wilson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's not going bar down at all very often.
I think I would shit my pants if I saw that.
It might be a sight. But no, the second game of the home and home is tomorrow, and those games have always seems to be proven to be more feisty. I mean, this isn't the 70s, and I know a lot of people, if they watch this, actually maybe didn't watch hockey as much back then. Or most people probably like we know are in like 90s babies. You know what I mean? They didn't see, unless they watch it on YouTube. They didn't see those bench clearing brawls. They didn't see the Donald Brashear.
Oh yeah,
like just
that really did start kind of fading out with after the last deadline. It's kind of been phased out slowly a little bit.
Yeah, slower and slower. They put more rules in.
Oh yeah, well, not to mention
shit like that.
Nobody's really looking for enforcers anymore because the thing is.
Have you seen Ryan Reeves?
Yeah, but in this day and age, you need all four lines to somehow be productive. I mean, look at Pittsburgh. I mean, they're the model, especially the last couple of years, to really look at where everybody's contributing.
And I say, have you seen Ryan motherfucking Reeves?
He's a goon, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have absolutely no disagreements about that at all. Full-blown goon.
I mean,
Brad
Marchand, so is Tom.
Yeah, and see, that's the problem, is we wasted a first-round pick on him, okay?
He's a shitty Doug Glatt. And I say this because he's not even better. Would you say he's better than Doug?
No, if we're going with the fictional character of Doug Glatt, not like Sean William Scott in real life, I would absolutely take Doug Glatt over Tom Wilson. Because Doug Glatt stands in front of the net and got a goal off his ass. Okay, I don't remember the last time Tom Wilson went to the net and did anything.
I will say though that he did in the last game when we played Columbus, and he got in the fight with their leading goal scorer.
Oh yeah, I'll take that every time.
Yeah,
it's like an NHL game where the guy tries to goes after you with their leading goal scorer. You're like, absolutely, I will take Orpik out of the game for this. That's fine, take him.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, by the way, I have to ask because I still have not seen this because I forgot to look it up. Did you see Tom Wilson laying out Kuzi?
Yes.
Okay.
He left his feet.
Because I'm literally coming back from Florida, which, by the way, was an entirely turbulent flight all the way back, which scared the living hell out of me.
Because they mad you left Harry Potter World.
Well, that's the other thing. But I legitimately take my phone off airplane mode, and the group chat gets hit up, and all I hear is that Kuzi got leveled by Wilson, and I'm sitting here thinking, please tell me he meant like by a shot or something. And no, apparently got hit. So how bad did it look?
I mean,
up real fast, but I mean, like what happened?
So Kuznetsov's turning in the zone, and he literally he's not looking until the very end, and he just rails him on accident. I mean, it's clearly accidental. Like he's not paying full attention. Well, Tom's paying attention, but he's following the puck.
Yeah,
and so they just happen to hit each other. I mean, and it's just and Kuzi gets down for a minute, but it's funny he leaves his feet to not hit him.
Because I heard he went to the bench, and then I never heard whether he actually came back out or not.
I think Kuzi came out. Yeah,
no, I saw that when I was waiting for my bags to come out, but it was one of those things where I was like, is he alive?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little. I couldn't find it for you. You might be able to find it, but it was just like oh, and Tom, you left your feet to hit your own player. It's like, come on, bro, don't do that.
He's run out of other people into hitting the league. Now he has to start going after.
I mean, he did get a penalty the other game for just checking.
Yeah. Oh my God, Tom Wilson. It hurts to see every time, especially when he's on the top line. Like, oh my God. What did we give Oshie all that money for?
I mean, just our problem is Oshie was running cold is the thing, and then I think they did that. And then they even moved Backstrom down, and then they moved Backstrom back up for the last game. That way,
okay. Let's be honest. There is no moving Backstrom down. Okay, that just makes the other lines better. There is no demotion. There's a slight promotion from other people. That's it.
I mean, I'm not saying I love Nicholas Backstrom. I'm not saying it's a demotion, but I'm saying is Kuzi will work. Ovi will work fine with Kuzi.
Oh yeah.
Ovi will work fine with Nikki. Kuzi and Oshie necessarily might not be working great, but Nikki's going to get Oshie the puck.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean by go down.
Well, I think part of the question is
don't eject your seat yet and set the house on fire. Because I said demotion.
I think one of the big questions is how 100% is Oshie coming back from that concussion. Like, I mean, he seems to be looking better and better each game, but you can tell there was he wasn't quite himself.
Well, I mean, of course, my second favorite player had to give Oshie a concussion with his ass.
Yeah, how'd you feel about that one? With your love of Joe Thornton.
just very upset because I was like, we need him, and then poor Joe's beard got ripped out.
I saw that
the game later by that fucking rat Kadri. But I mean, it was funny when Oshie after he got fined for cross-checking.
Yeah, I saw his comments.
Cross-checking Letang in the granted, it wasn't the neck. You shouldn't be checking to the head area in general.
But in fairness, Letang absolutely went after.
He sucker punched him twice.
I would have understood fines both ways.
Yeah.
But there should not have been a one-way punishment.
Oh yeah, well, and then he even brings it up. He's like, Thornton literally ass checks me in the face. 4 seconds after the puck goes by, he gets nothing. Granted, he did fight. He got, someone fought him, but that doesn't redeem the fact that I ended up with a concussion.
Yeah, I like when players actually kind of have a moment where they actually call people out for stuff like that and actually let their emotions fly instead of the cliche answers usually.
Well, they got to be somewhat careful because they will. I know they get a lot of sports. But I think NHL kind of takes it a little more personally when you talk shit about the refs.
Well, it's because Gary Bettman's sensitive.
Everybody hates Gary.
Gary probably hates Gary. Okay.
I mean,
but no, I mean, honestly, it's hard to complain sometimes about the way we're playing because we are in a really good position in the league overall.
I think we're third in the conference, third or fourth in the conference.
Yeah, but
Atlantic's doing really well this year.
But I mean, it's also kind of after the kicking the crap out of the league the last 2 years to kind of see us struggling here and there. Hopefully it's kind of humbling to them and kind of makes them keep wanting to earn it. But one of my biggest concerns is, to me, Holtby has looked off. I mean, not hugely, but I think coming after, great seasons, to watch him kind of be ordinary is kind of hard to see and makes you question what it's going to look like in the playoffs if we go.
I mean, like last year, I don't know if everybody expected it, and usually he's if not the best player, the second best player on the Capitals in the playoffs. Usually, because I'm not a huge Ovi dick rider, but if you look at Ovi's stats in the playoffs over the year, he's at least in the last 5 years since Trotz has been here, I would say he still is the leading point scorer on the team in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
and what happens to Ovi is no one else steps up, so of course when only he scores, the stats don't look very good.
Well, I think that was one of my favorite things about games 5 and 6 against the Penguins is we had everybody chipping in. Everybody was scoring goals. I mean, granted, we lit them up like it was nobody's business. But, I mean, everybody was chipping in. So there was kind of that hope of maybe the whole team can get it done and we can finally push to the second round. But, again, it kind of the same thing I've brought up before on here is Holtby seems to be in the right spots or, to have the right reaction, but it'll slide just off of him or he'll just get beaten.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I'm not going to lie. Part of it is our defense. You got Bowie and you have Jews who first year's up, still kind of learning the systems, kind of getting used to the NHL, all these things. But some of it's got to be on Holtby. Some of it's him letting in easy goals that he absolutely should have.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you on the fact that Holtby has looked more average, I think especially last year and then to this year.
Yeah.
And it's funny, they're even playing in less games. And I know he likes to play more games, but clearly it's come playoff time, he looks exhausted. But I don't know. It's just maybe people have figured him out. Everybody has a weakness sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Like even not Kuznetsov. Like Lundqvist's weakness is his glove side.
Yeah.
And glove side, and for a while he used to stand on the goal line.
Yeah.
And so it was
deep.
Yeah, and so literally, if you got him to make a move, you would have him essentially because he has nowhere to fall back to.
Yeah.
And it just seems sometimes like he's there, and I don't know if he just doesn't see it. Sometimes guys are in the way. I mean, there's been a couple unlucky bounces. At the beginning of the year
deflections. There's not really much you can do about it because that fraction of a deflection can change everything.
Yeah. Like the Pittsburgh game, I think there were some shots, some ones he should have had.
Yeah,
I think that Kessel one he definitely should have had.
The
Kessel one, the short side off the post.
We had God, it's hard to remember which game it was. I don't remember which one it was, but there was a overtime goal. I think it might have actually been against. There was an overtime goal. It's probably Florida or something, whatever. But either way, our defense screwed up. No, it was Taylor Hall. I think it was against Jersey. It was the Taylor Hall goal where we turned it over and, he came in on the breakaway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he beat Holtby. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was like, I put that on the defense for, not being there to protect him. And I was like, yes, the defense screwed up when it's one-on-one like that. That's your fault as a goalie. You're expected to make that stop when it's one-on-one. Now, if it was a 2-on-1 or a 2-on-0 where, they crease past it, you can't reach over, that's one thing. But when a guy's standing in front of you, you got to make the save.
Yeah. I can't necessarily fully disagree with you there, but We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Speaking of have Holtby is doing and we have a couple back to backs in a couple weeks, so clearly Grubauer will get in.
Oh yeah.
But looking at the coming schedule, I mean, it's not going to be easy. And these are essentially what Trotz was saying. These are all like playoff games essentially.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we have. Excuse me. We have Columbus tomorrow night. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Detroit Sunday, Winnipeg Tuesday, Minnesota next Thursday, then Chicago, and then in Buffalo. Buffalo's kind of that like game where it's like, I mean, but it's a trap. I think those are trap games really. If you look at Buffalo, because Buffalo is just for some reason not been good, but not been overly good. Like it's funny. It's when they make these like roster decide who's going to be in the Stadium Series and like Winter Classics, and like Buffalo's only won 15 games this year. I mean, it's like.
I mean, but that's one of those things where I almost feel like no matter what, I feel like it's a DC curse that like when you play teams that are like not doing well, for some reason you always play horrible against them.
Well, it's a trap game. You play down to your competition.
Yeah. But no, and that's another thing is Grubauer to me. I honestly think the past 2 years we've had one of the best 1-2s in the league. You know, because Grubauer I think could honestly be a starter somewhere, but. This season, it's kind of the same thing. I think he's kind of catching the raw deal, especially in the beginning of the season. We were playing like crap in front of him, and not all those losses were entirely his fault. But at the same time, he seemed a little off too. I mean, could it be something, especially because I think Mitch Korn is no longer the head of the goaltending coaching. I think he's taken a lesser role, but still kind of consulting with the head guy when need be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is just something I was thinking about because, I mean, it has not necessarily been our best year for goaltending, but then again, the last 2 seasons we've had one of the best defenses, stacked up in the league. I think we won the something Ross Trophy. I think it was last year. Something.
No, the Ross is an individual trophy.
No. What was that I'm thinking of? Jennings?
May have been. I thought it was a goal. I thought it was a defending trophy. No, it was a.
It's. Well, I mean, it was.
You're talking about. I think we had most wins by goal. By goalies, like so, Grubauer didn't play enough games to get the award, the Jennings Award.
So it just went to Holtby.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, part of that is really due because we had such a good defense in front of him. I mean, we had solid veterans all the way through, and everybody was stepping up. And this year, like I said, it's not all of them are on Grubauer, but he's also looked a little shaky in the games where I think he should have made more stops. So I mean, it's concerning, kind of going down the home stretch because we've got 2 months before the playoffs start, and. This is where you got to start cracking down and start making sure you're tightening up your weaknesses.
Oh, definitely. Well, even the next these next two home games aren't going to be easy. Detroit they always seem to kind of pull it together, especially if we're playing against Mrazek. For some reason I don't know what happened to Howard. He was pretty good for a while, and then he just fell off the deep end. And then Mrazek, when we play Mrazek, he does pretty well.
Yeah.
But Chicago's up and down. Minnesota is, especially with Boudreau, that's going to be a good offense. And then Winnipeg is a hell of a place. Hell of a place, like at least watching on TV is a hell of a place to play. Super loud all the time.
Oh yeah.
They're like up there.
Matty P's up there. Hey, I'm just saying I never saw Mojo score 4 goals. That's all I'm saying.
Whatever. But
sorry, go ahead.
I didn't see Mojo's face shield ever get shattered either.
Hey, you scored a goal off that. I'll thank you, okay? But that's sacrifice to the team when you're willing to lose some chicklets just to get a goal, okay?
But I will say, Columbus's canon.
Yeah.
Is like I hate listening to Winnipeg's jet flyby every time they score. It's like a flyover every time.
Yeah, I mean everyone's got their own little thing. I think especially going into places like that and having to hear them, it's just that much more annoying. I mean, like that cannon. I don't think anybody outside of Columbus likes that cannon. I don't even think the announcers like the cannon. I mean, that is demoralizing. I don't blame them though. I would do the same thing.
Oh,
I would absolutely come up with something super annoying that every time we scored, they would rub it in their faces.
I wish somebody would change it and then it'd be like, fire the lasers, pew, 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 just to throw everybody off. Everybody expects to hear like a big boom.
You do like an Eagles call for the Capitals, like every time they score a goal. That'd be annoying as hell. I think even as a fan, I'd hate that.
Oh my God, yes. Please.
Which, by the way, did I ever tell you when we were playing in the tournament, some kid tried to chirp Mikey after he got a goal scored on him?
No.
Yeah, he tried to do the Capitals 1-2, it's all your fault.
Yeah.
And Mikey just yelled back at the kid, at least I'm not a ginger. And apparently the kid was like, I'll fight you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Fun times at beer league tournaments.
He's probably like a 12-year-old boy.
I'd give him 13, 14 maybe, but still.
He's like, I'm a real boy.
Pretty much. Sorry, moving on. Speaking of Detroit, though, I was just thinking about that. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about us picking Green back up.
Why?
Believe me, I think it would be a horrible decision, but I
was gonna wait a minute, but we're kind of getting to that point where I was gonna ask you, especially with the trade deadline coming up, and I'll most likely bring this up on a different podcast when we have Mikey. I mean, Pat's really useless at hockey, so I wouldn't ask Pat these questions. But I don't get a chance to sit down and talk with you very much more because we're kind of busy a lot. But I was gonna say, because I've been hearing, heard. I saw via through Twitter and shit that like people like certain fans are like, we should get Marcus Kruger from Carolina. He'd be great for the fourth line. I'm like, oh my god, our fourth line
is not the problem.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it is kind of a problem because they're like right now the last like 10 something games.
Yeah.
The only person that scored is like Stevenson,
yeah.
But that was in 2 games. He had 3 goals and that was it, and it kind of faded away after that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Personally, if we're looking to move people, I'm looking to move cap space. I'm looking to get rid of Brooks Orpik. I've been preaching that for a while, and I know they're like, we want to keep him for his Stanley Cup experience. But
I mean, this is one of those things where it's like we keep talking about like the last couple seasons. If those weren't the teams that were going to get it done when we're stacked out of our mind, it's time to start making some changes. And obviously, Brooks Orpik, locker room professionalism and health tips and leadership didn't get us to the third round. I mean, we already paid him way too much when we got him. And what was that, 4 years ago? And we gave him a 5 or 6 year deal?
It was like, no, it was like 3 years ago.
And I think we gave him a 5-year deal. So
like
I think
that.
This would be his this would be his 4th year, right?
Something. It's close. Hold on. I'm actually on cap friendly, and I'll tell you. But why would like Mike Green? So the thing with Mike Green would be it would be a rental, and it'd be the only thing. It'd be a rental. And it's a $6 million.
I was just about to say it's $6 million. We don't have $6 million to give up.
$1
like that.
million rental.
I mean,
and I'm pretty sure Detroit's looking to unload a lot of contracts.
Oh,
Not just that one, but like that is redonkulous. $6 million. That's the reason why we let him go.
Oh yeah, he wanted the money, and I'm not gonna lie to you, part of it, really didn't deserve it.
Took the money and ran.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention at the time, I think that was like at Detroit's like downfall of like when they really weren't making it anymore. But I did not mind his offensive capability, and the thing is, we've always joked a lot around, of our group of friends of everything, that he's supposed to be paired with a defensive defenseman, but yet he's always the one that gets caught back on the 2-on-1s.
And it always looks like shit because we always get scored on, and he's always next to the net.
Game 2 against Tampa and over. Oh god, can never live that down.
So Brooks Orpik has 2 years left on his deal.
Well, hold on, please tell me. Hold on. So after this, he still has 2 more years.
After this, he has 1 more year.
Okay, that's what I was. Okay, that at least makes me feel a little bit better.
And it's at $5.5 million. So literally, you're trading.
Oh god, that hurts. Just hearing $5.5 million for Brooks. When was the last time? Okay, granted, I understand he's not an offensive player, but holy shit, when's the last time he got a point?
Him?
Yeah, seriously. I mean. This is the thing.
I knew you were coming, so I had stats pulled up already.
I'm just saying, in a league where you literally need everybody to be able, to contribute offensively somehow to be a dangerous team, Brooks Orpik does nothing but level people at the worst times.
Well, he's supposed to be your best defensive defenseman. He's a -7. He's a -7 right now.
I was about to say, that's not what's happening. Okay. $5.5 million. Okay, give that to Tom Wilson for the 1 goal he scores every year.
Well, it's alright because then technically he's not. I thought he was the highest paid defenseman we had. It's actually Niskanen.
Oh yeah, no. I was saying Niskanen got the higher deal, but that was I at least understood Niskanen.
You'd be surprised. He actually got a point against Florida on January 25th. He had 1 assist.
It was a Crosby point, wasn't it? I guarantee you, it wasn't a prime. I'm sorry, no, because I remember what it was. Now it was the shot he took that Ovi deflected. Okay, so the only reason why he got a point is because Ovi's Ovi and actually went to the net, got it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Niskanen I at least understood because he was younger, he had more offensive capabilities, he could at least play 2 ways, somewhat. But I mean, that made sense to me. Orpik is old as balls.
37.
Oh my god, he's still got okay.
So he'll be 30. If he doesn't turn 38 this year, he'll be 39 by the time he retires.
Brooks, I think just in case, for every reason we actually get somebody on the Capitals team to listen to this. I love you as a person. I think you're a really good person professionally and all that things, but for the love of God, get off of the ice. And the only reason why I hesitate to say that is because, good God, it means we have to put another person who has no NHL experience on the blue line. And rant.
I mean, until he's gone, your only other options are Taylor Chorney if he subbed in.
The last 2 seasons I haven't minded Chorney. I have not. Okay, I'm not sitting here saying he's God's gift to man, but I did not mind Taylor Chorney. I thought he was a decent, and I stretch the word decent, bottom 6 pairing.
The problem is I think they've been trying to work in new people like Jews and Bowie.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Jews and Bowie only make like $700, $650. And then Chorney only makes $800,000. I mean, and I say only because I make like $45,000. And so I say only because once again, it's like
it's still a lot of money.
Laughable how much you get paid to play the game you love.
Well, not everybody's going to be OV. I mean, you're not going to get paid unless you're putting massive points up on the board, pretty much, or happen to have like a bomb ass slap shot and can hit the hell out of people. Shea Weber.
I was about to say. I mean, you said score a lot or hit people. Two things Brooks Orpik isn't doing a lot this year. He is leading the team in hits, though, shockingly.
And block shots, I believe, if I remember
he's
correctly.
a big guy. He should be able to block every shot.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, losing Schmidt just killed us. I mean, we were not expecting that. We were expecting Grubauer to go. I think we were planning around that. And then Schmidt leaving, Alsner leaving. I
mean, we could have made an attempt. We could have made an attempt to save Schmidt.
Yeah, because wasn't GM basically saying, like, oh, give me this and, like, I won't go after your people? Like, he was, like, going to different teams. I remember hearing some rumors.
Yeah, he was saying, trade, if you don't want me to take your players, trade me whatever, like, make me offers for him. And then I think apparently the Caps made some minuscule offer to keep him and, whatever. But, I mean, it was funny because look how, for a while it would have helped with all the injuries they had in goal. Yeah. But, Fleury's back, so they're doing good.
And not to mention, I don't think, Vegas is, I don't think Nate Schmidt's really having a bad time in Vegas over there, number 1 in the league, fucking running over teams left and right.
True, they beat the shit out of us.
Dude, their team is ridiculous. I've never heard of an expansion team that's ever come out of the gates like this, ever.
No, they are. They're the best expansion team ever in the league so far.
Yeah, they just set a record
so far.
Who knows?
I say that because the season is, when I say it's still young, granted we're halfway past it, but they still haven't made the playoffs yet.
Yeah, we had a conversation with Fallon about this coming back from Florida. She's saying that she thinks they're going to look great in the playoffs, all these things, and I'm like, it's possible. It really is. Given the way they're playing right now, it's absolutely possible. But at the same time, I think you do still have some newer people on there that you never know what's going to happen. It's their first year in the playoff. Everything changes. Look at us. We rolled over the league the last 2 seasons. Then when the playoff came, same old song and dance.
True. But if you had to beef up the team going into the deadline, would you make a move at all? So I have it's 2 questions. I guess 2 questions to ask you. So would you make a move? Yes or no. And if you did make the move, who would you want to get? So I guess it's 3-part. Who would you want to get rid of, and who would you want to bring in? Because I know you said. We heard rumors from Mike Green. I don't want Mike Green.
No, I do. I absolutely do not want Mike Green back.
And then somebody threw out some stupid. It was like, let's get Rick Nash, who makes $7 million, and doesn't like to take his big ass to the front of the net very often either.
So sorry. Say the name. Who'd you say?
Someone said Rick Nash from the Rangers. So these are like people like it was a like he get I didn't see the list, but I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it. There was a list of like 12 teams that he was willing to be traded to. Most of them were all probably most likely be Stanley Cup contenders. Yeah, but like $7 million though, and they want like 2. And I think New York wants like a good player and a pick and a prospect or something like that.
Yeah, I don't have a name to throw at you right now of who I'd really would say I'd want to put in. Mm-hmm. The only problem is this. I think there are probably moves to be made out there for us. Small things that could really help us out. Because I think one of the last 2 seasons, one of our biggest things were especially our 4th line. Mm-hmm. I thought Daniel Winnick and Jay Beagle were phenomenal for us last year. And, I'm only saying them because Tom Wilson was just kind of on that line. Tom, again, I love you as a person, and you have a strong fist and can probably kick my ass, but for the love of God, learn to score more. But I think that was one of the big things for us, and I don't see that nearly as much this year. Somebody who stands out to me and I think has really had a great season so far that didn't really impress me all that much last season was Lars Eller. I think he's
having a career season so far.
He's blowing it up. And it's the same thing for Daniel Winnick for me. Like when Daniel Winnick came in, when we picked him up at the deadline, he really didn't impress me. He didn't really do all that much. Yeah. Came back the next season and had a great season playing on that fourth line. But that my issue with trade deadline moves, it's a lot. You're moving, you're dealing with your whole family, whether they're coming with you, whether they're staying, you're learning a new system, you're getting used to playing with new teammates. It's a risk. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if the last time I really ever saw that work out that for us in that same season. So honestly, if you ask me, I almost just say ride out with what you got.
It's funny because I saw this the other day, and I started trolling some North Carolina fans we know.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those comments back and forth.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, I don't think that they would get rid of Noah Hannafin, but. I mean, I was like, in Carolina, but I was like, hey, I mean, I did hear Jacob Slavin's name mentioned, possibly, like, from Bob McKenzie, like, them possibly getting rid of him. He only makes, I mean, after this year, he will make $5.3 million, but, he makes $742,000 now.
Okay.
And then, and that's just, he's a defense. And I was just thinking, if you're trying to stay young with defense, because I feel like our forwards are a little clogged. A little bit, and I don't think they'd get rid. Like it'd be like if they got rid of Sebastian Aho, it'd be like you just sold the farm.
Yeah, no.
I mean, and I don't think they're fire sailing, but I have seen them. They just did send down Josh Juris and Marcus Kruger, and people are trying to say Marcus Kruger would help our fourth line if we picked them up, but it's like that's $3 million.
Yeah,
still.
I mean, that's again, you don't. Is not necessarily that I don't disagree that he can help us, but it also comes down to the issue of salary cap because if we were to pick him up, we're gonna have to drop somebody. Then who do you drop?
Yeah, I mean that's like also I'll look it up in a second, but I heard some names coming out of like James Van Riemsdyk. I don't mind James Van Riemsdyk.
Not bad.
I don't mind a big guy, but it's also another huge contract, and that's our problem is who's moving. Like, of course, I would love to see Brooks go, but if I had to pick another one, I mean, it's really tough for me to see somebody go. I mean,
but part of the other problem is in order to get rid of somebody, they have to have some kind of upside. Like you have to be able to sell giving them to another team. Like this is going to benefit you.
Yeah.
And outside of our top two lines and Lars Eller and Burakovsky, we really don't have that much. Jay Beagle's the fucking Capitals for life. He's not going anywhere. He's happy where he is. I mean, he's a great workhorse. Not to mention, I think he's like
every time
consistently top in the NHL in faceoff wins.
True, but I mean.
Not that that's necessarily the most important stat to ever have in your life.
I mean, it was good for last year, especially for like the Penguins with Nick Bonino.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, Nick Bonino finally left. I mean, granted, he was in Carolina, not Carolina. He was in Anaheim before he was in. Pittsburgh.
If you asked me who I think we should get rid of in the sense of it, if I had to go forward. God, I mean, that's the problem. Is I'm trying to think of how would we sell these people to other teams and say this person's really going to be able to help you.
True. I mean, they all fit in a certain way. I don't think it's anybody you just picked up this year.
Yeah.
I don't see you getting rid of a Smith Pelly.
No.
I don't see you getting rid of. Maybe if you somehow can fit a Conley and you just piece him to somebody he would have to also be like a secondary item in a trade.
Yeah, no, Brett Conley, that would honestly probably be one of those like some team needs a third or fourth line guy who can come in there and do a little bit for him. I mean, again, I thought Brett Connolly had a phenomenal season last year. I thought he played really well.
Yeah.
And then again this season, it's just kind of he's there, he's doing some good things, but he's not as consistent.
And the one thing is, and I'm looking at the contracts is. Guys that you could get rid of maybe Smith Pelly could, but Smith Pelly only makes $650,000 and he's a restricted free agent next year. And Tom is also a restricted free agent next year.
Tom Wilson? Mm-hmm. Oh, good, he's gone. Okay, thank you.
I mean, who knows? We'll see. We'll see what BMGM does.
No, I was hearing something. I think it was like last year or 2 years ago about like Trotz trying to like point out like captain like moments for Tom Wilson to start like emulating, and I'm like, please tell me you don't want Tom Wilson to be our next captain.
Yeah, also, I mean, Grubauer might be gone next year. I mean, you never know. He's a restricted free agent. Holtby makes $6 million.
First of all, Holtby's not going anywhere.
Well, no, Holtby. I didn't say Holtby's going, but I'm saying Holtby makes $6.1 million a year.
Oh yeah.
And Grubauer makes $1.5 million.
Oh yeah.
And could start you say even could start somewhere. So they could leverage that for picks at the end of the year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like I honestly, and not to mention I think he likes being on our team. Like, I think he enjoys it, but I also think no goalie's objective is to maintain being a backup. Like, unless you're Ilya Bryzgalov and have a happy-go-lucky personality and don't care what's going on.
I like looking at universe and stars.
Yeah. Why worry? Be happy.
It's Pucker's game. Why you so upset?
But I think he probably, like everybody else, like Nuvi, for instance, thought Nuvi was a decent goaltender, but he wanted to be a starter somewhere else, and, eventually...
Side tangent. Did he just pass out recently, or was that an old video I just saw?
Nuvi?
Yeah, passing out recently
I feel
in
like
the game?
that was an old video.
Okay. I don't know why. I was on the YouTube, and somehow it was like, Neufert passes out at game.
I don't know if it happened recently. I feel like I remember hearing it happen a long time. I know it happened... home opener for us back in...
but it wasn't us, though.
That's what I was saying. It was for the other... I think it was Carolina, was it? Or
well, we had a game where Andrei Pavlik passed out.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Grubauer could be a good selling piece. He could be. I actually didn't think about that at first. Grubauer could be a good selling piece for us if, somebody needed a goaltender, but then the question is, what can they give us in turn?
Yeah.
I mean... I don't know. There's a lot of things that are up in the air, and I think especially with how we played last season, to not be performing at the same level it's not shocking, because, I mean, we all knew this was going to happen. We knew we weren't going to run over everybody this season, but I'm also not panicking going into the playoffs either.
Yeah. So it was last year. Sorry. I just came across the video. I was like, wait, did he just pass out recently?
No, but I mean, obviously the big one to me, people I would honestly like to see go from the team would be Brooks Orpik or Tom Wilson or something like that. I mean, Smith Pelly, to be honest with you, like, I don't mind him, but I also he hasn't stood out to me much this season at all.
I feel like, I mean, he's still young. He's only 25, but I feel like if Trotz doesn't go anywhere, because I know, of course, at the beginning of the year, everybody was panicking because we weren't lighting the world on fire, as you said, and everybody's like, "Oh, Trotz is on the hot seat," and then it was like, I could kind of see Smith Pelly being a poor man's Joel Ward.
I agree with that. I mean, there's less flashes.
But I'm saying, like, it would take, like, Joel wasn't always flashy. I
No,
think. Joel was the blue collar guy. He's still the blue collar guy.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, I think Smith Pelly could get there.
Joel Ward was never dangling people, like carrying the puck into the zone and making plays, but he was always going into those hard areas and earning what he got. And I mean, I've seen Smith Pelly
with at least
hard. Say what?
I love when he goes hard.
I loved when he went hard in Boston and got that double OT goal.
And everybody in Boston.
Actually, that was just regular OT, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just the first one.
And then when everybody in Boston was super racist, yes. Dicks.
But I was actually just talking to somebody about that recently. I forget what I was going to say. No, but I mean, like, Smith Pelly, like, he hasn't really done much to really stand out to me. I mean, he's got, probably like 3 or 4 goals maybe, I think, this season. I mean, I don't think it's anything too major. I don't think he's really made that big of an impact.
He has 7 goals.
Really?
7 goals, 7 assists.
Not horrible numbers, but I mean...
Chandler Stevenson has 5 goals, 8 assists. Burakovsky's but he has also played 30 games less than a lot of people.
Yeah.
But look at Chasen. Chasen has 7 goals.
That's another one, man. That's another person that just really didn't do a whole lot for me. And it's...
I mean, he's one of those guys we kept at, like, Tyler Grayevac.
Yeah.
Was a guy we kept too at the end of camp, and I mean, I think it was a toss up between whichever one was going to go down.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things is I felt the same way about Connolly and Eller and like Winnick and people like that coming in. And I was very much kind of.
But Brent's got 13 goals.
Well, what I was going to say is, like, when they came in, I wasn't necessarily really all that impressed with what I had, like, seen or read about them, and I was kind of like, okay, well, like, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned out to pleasantly, I liked watching them play. I thought they did good. They skated hard and earned everything they got.
Yeah.
But Chason and Smith Pelly so far this season, so I tried to walk into the season and kind of be like, hopefully same thing will happen. Hopefully I'll be wrong. Maybe they'll be really good. And I haven't really seen that much from them. I
think, the problem with, especially on that forward line, like, it's like a revolving door. And I remember I heard Trotz saying it one day. He's like, I have to sit certain guys because I have to get them to play.
Yeah.
Like, they have to play. I can't just let them sit up here on the bench.
Fair.
Well, I mean, it's also a point. It's like, it's almost where we have too many people. And if we don't have enough people, that we can send up and down.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like we let Walker waived him because he wasn't playing enough and he got picked up, and then waived him and then Edmonton waived him and we were to pick him back up and put him down in the minors and play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think we wanted to get rid of him. I think
No.
we saw the situation and we're like, well, we'll have to do this.
He's the only one I think you could send down that was unproven that we thought maybe wouldn't get picked up.
Yeah. And I was happy to see him get his first goal, but in his first game and everything. But also kind of the same thing, where it's like I didn't think he really earned to stay up here or anything like that. Like I think, given time, maybe, who knows?
He's not Australia proud.
I don't know. We got a lot of questions going into the playoffs for me, and kind of hoping that maybe fighting for it a little more. And we're still not playing bad. We still have a really good record. So it's not like we're playing like crap. We're middle of the pack and we don't know what's going to happen. But I'm still seeing kind of sloppy things. Like the game against Columbus the other night for me really didn't look that good to me. Everything was sloppy.
Well, we had a game against Carolina that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it was funny then. It was another home and home. But the first game, like we played real well, and we just couldn't get the win. And the second game looked like dog shit.
And still got it.
And then we lost that game.
Was it? I thought we won that one. Sorry.
Oh, no. You're right. That's the one we won at the last second with Jay Beagle. We lost the first one. We lost the first one. We played better. Played shitty the second game and won.
Yeah.
That's the one we won. Jay Beagle scored like a second left or something in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, a lot of questions going into it.
And how about Nicky got his 200th goal in it? It was funny. And it was funny. Of course, it was like on the most broken play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ovi got lucky to just turn around swinging the puck the way it did, and then it landed with Oshie. And I don't know whether he just threw it to a blind spot and just hoped somebody was there, or whether Nicky called for it or whatever. But
he was living on a prayer.
Perfect pass, perfect shot. You gotta love Nicky. He's always in the right place at the right time, making the right moves.
Is it bad that for some reason he only knows how to shoot normally in the playoffs? like you look at it. I think if you added up his playoff goals total. Mm-hmm. Like, it wouldn't be too far off, like, except for those couple years with Boudreaux where he had, like, 25, 30 goals that Nicky did. Like, it's not off a normal pace for, like, the amount of season goals he has, like, for a season.
He's always consistent. And it's one of those things where, people have been trying to tell him to shoot for years because he's got a great shot.
He's too generous.
He is. He's a pass first player, and the problem is sometimes he keeps looking for that pass too much. But I will say one thing: it shocked me the other day because that goal he had,
it almost didn't go in.
Well, no. When I saw it went off the glove, and he actually got the goalie got a little piece of it. But when Carlson sent the puck over, I didn't see the numbers, and I thought it was Juice that was over there and went to go rip that slap shot.
Okay, talking about the first goal.
No, Backstrom's goal. So
it was Oshie
Carlson got the puck.
Uh-huh.
Shot it. He slid it over to Backstrom. Shot it.
Mm-hmm.
Puck got loose behind the net. Whatever. They came back around and got it.
Okay.
Ovi picked it up and threw it in, and threw it towards the net.
Yeah.
And Oshie picked it up. When that slap shot came, because he stopped the puck and then ripped the slap shot, I thought it was Juice, and I was like, okay. And then I went back and actually saw that it was Nicky, and I was like, oh my god, he actually shot the puck from a distance. Yeah. Okay.
He can do it occasionally. He just likes to lull you in the biggest sleep ever.
Oh my god, yeah. I think one of my favorite ones is where I think it was against Philadelphia in the playoffs, where he just kind of No, I think it was against the Islanders, where he just kind of walked right into the middle, and there was like a perfect box around him, and he just walked into the middle and was like, okay, if you guys are going to give me the room, and just ripped it top shelf on, it was still Mason, I think. Not Mason, oh my god.
Was either Mason or Neuvert?
Yeah, no, it was Mason, that's who it was. Yeah, Nuvi wasn't in yet.
Yeah.
But, Nicky getting his 200th is huge. He is constantly gone under the radar. He's noticed, but it's one of those things where he never gets the spotlight because Ovi is such a polar...
Well, that's like when they asked him about the
All-Star
Snubs? He was on the radio with Elliot from Elliot in the morning, and, they asked him, do you think you don't get... He's like, no, I think I get enough credit. He's like, I'm just...
Quiet.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
He's like, I think, yeah...
Well, that's a big thing I liked. I actually really liked how Trotz went out of his way and was like, I think it's bullshit that he didn't get nominated for the All-Star game before this, considering how great he is.
Yeah.
Obviously, and then, he did the same thing for John Carlson this year, because John Carlson's having a phenomenal season. But
John's got to get, okay, John has kind of the same issue you do. I'm not going to, and I don't mean to compare you, and I don't mean to, make you sound too good, and I don't mean to make something too shitty, but if he lowered his shot 3 feet, he might have like 4 more goals.
Yeah.
And he might, or like even more, because right now he only has 8 goals and 33 assists. I don't think I've seen anybody take more rippers and you had one of his sticks. It's like 100 flex stick. It's not an easy.
It was more than that.
110 or something.
Yeah,
like
that was a stick stiff. I mean, I use 100. I mean, I could at least bend it.
Did you say a stick stiff?
Stiff stick.
Okay, that's pretty sure.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about something else.
Okay.
But no, he uses a big stick. I mean, he's also a taller guy too. But I mean, he definitely. I mean, I think it's also the pattern too. That pattern of stick that me and him both use is kind of designed to shoot high. It's not. I think it's the mids and the mid heels and the heels are designed to kind of be lower shots, right?
I think it depends on the toe opening. Yeah, because if you have an open toe, it's going to ramp up.
Yeah, because we use open toes. I mean, I'm kind of I no longer use that. I mean, I'm more using a cane now than a backstrom. But no, I mean, I agree. I mean, but that's the thing that bothered me about Shattenkirk when we had last year when we had him was I understand we paid him the money. I understand he's this great,
full rental.
Power play specialist whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, it made no sense to take John Carlson off that power play spot because. And one of my biggest things, and I stand by this, is I was never confident whenever Shattenkirk took a shot. Like whenever Nicky would give him the pass back up there and he'd go to shoot it or rip the wrist shot or slap shot, whatever it is, I never thought that could have been a goal. I thought all of his shots were weak. But when Carlson takes that shot, I'm thinking there's a chance this could go in.
True. I don't know. Maybe they did that for the same reason they put Nicky down, as they were thinking maybe putting Carlson down the line would
help the
but also Shattenkirk never really took off for the Caps. So maybe that was the reason why they put him on the power play with Nicky and Ovi would be someone to get him some points finally.
Maybe.
I mean that'd be the only thing I could think was that because I mean if he's supposed to be that good then you'd actually want him on the other one away from maybe Ovi and Nicky with Kuzi possibly down there.
Yeah, I mean I get that trying to make the second power play a little more potent so that way it's not just all your top guys are up there and then that's your only chance, but Shattenkirk just never did anything for me. Like everyone's, we got Shattenkirk, and I was like watching him play for us. I was like, why?
Well, I'm not completely upset about that. I blame some of that on Orpik, and that's the same issues you're seeing this year is gap control. There was a couple where somebody would cut to cover their side of the ice, and Orpik or whatever, or like there was supposed to be a cross or something, and Orpik wouldn't pick up. Like Orpik still he has trouble, and he's 37. Yeah. He's not as fast.
No, he's also not going to learn the new systems or anything. Like I mean, he's not going to learn new tricks. He is what he is at this point.
But I mean, he should have adapted by now to the system.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he's 37 years old. He's on his way out.
I don't agree. I was say I don't agree with that analogy because he's been here long enough that you would learn the damn system.
Well, I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said systems. What I mean is he's not like I said. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. He's 37 years old. He's probably got 1 or 2 more years left in this league, if that. And I'm God hoping it's not.
Maybe not with us.
Like it's just one of those things where I think Mikey has always said it best: is we were a fast team when we needed to be big, and we're a big team that we need to be fast.
Oh yeah, fast teams are killing us.
Yeah,
look at Vegas and Pittsburgh, and
that is the big thing. Look how many especially actually I think both goals that were scored in Game 1 against Pittsburgh last year, both speed 2-on-1 breaks. Crosby on the wings. And
that game winner was by Daly.
Yeah.
I think was a gap control with Orpik on the ice too.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you have to have every person on your team able to skate back hard and not give chances. Do
you know who I would say has been pleasantly surprised? I mean, he does not have nearly as many points as Carlson though. Is Orlov.
Oh, okay. So I am a huge Skorlov fan. Okay, a huge Skorlov fan.
Who doesn't love a left-handed rush that could hit a slap shot?
And I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure he's got like 12 goals total in his career. So I don't know. He's probably got more. I'm just throwing a bullshit number out there. Yeah. But I've at least watched 3. I want to say confidently 3 times. I've watched him go up on the rush, put the puck between his legs, and somehow he still scores a goal out of it. I mean, one of those was when he got caught in the puck. I think it was against Colorado, where like the puck got caught in his pads and nobody knew where it was, and he skated back around to the front of the net and scored.
He did.
I mean, him to me I love him. He
has 27 career goals, Matt.
I'm pretty sure he's got 9 this season. I think
7.
Damn. All right.
Carlson's got the most with 8.
Okay.
On defense.
But he is one of those players where I think he's very high risk high reward, where it's like he can get, like, if he loses it and doesn't, pull it off.
I don't want to put him in this echelon because Letang has got 3 cups or 2 cups, but I was like, kind of like a Letang. Letang is like a very offensive defenseman, but can definitely play it safe. But he's
I will tell you, watching the game the other night, I really liked. I don't remember who was coming up with the puck, but it had a really nice poke check right at the blue line.
I think it was Bowie, maybe. Us against us or for us?
For us, Orlov poke checked the puck.
Oh, maybe
him,
okay.
But I mean, he's started to look better. Like, I think when he first came into the league, I think he was super offensive, going balls deep for everything he could, and he was getting burned on the backside, and like Trotz is like, you need to calm the fuck down. But he's definitely, I'm not saying he's perfect, but I think he's at least made a lot of good strides defensively. I mean, he fucking flipped Duchesne. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's gonna be a highlight forever.
I know, but
I mean, he almost. He was like a 1.5 flips almost on that.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised Duchesne didn't get hurt somehow on that play, but I mean, I think he's done a lot better in trying to improve his defensive game and continue to have that dynamic offensive side to his game as well.
But speaking of Russians real quick, and because I know it's getting kind of late and we're going to have to get out of here, and I'm not completely sure if they're going to, like, I think, as I said something about, I was reading today, they still have Russia on the U.S.'s schedule.
So the last I had heard about this, they were not.
And we're talking about, and to clarify, I'm talking about the Olympics started today, and the round robin starts next week. But like, and the U.S. plays Slovenia, Slovakia, and then Russia. You know what I mean? Or the Olympic. Russia competes under the Olympic flag, whatever this is going to be. But I mean, I'm just looking at their roster. So Nestorov, former NHL player. All right. I think they have Slava Voinov.
Okay.
Which was the guy who played for the Kings. I don't know if Andronov played. Pavel Datsuk. Mikhail Grigorenko. Who was the other one? There were a couple, like the guy who got kicked off the Kovalchuk. And then what's the guy who got kicked off of Vegas? Vladim Shipishek.
I know who
I don't know.
I just don't remember.
I can't butcher that name anymore. But like, yeah, I mean, these are like hot, like people that made it in the league for a while and still playing competitively, and this is like their one big chance.
Oh yeah.
And then,
well, I mean, not to mention, I hate to say it, but also not playing against a lot of top level NHL guys too also kind of helps open up the competition a little more, because it's no longer just all the superstars getting on one team.
True.
And Canada's going to run it.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say Canada. I mean, Canada is like clearly like the best, and you would expect them.
Of course.
But like Sweden also has like a fuck ton of of good talent. Yeah, I mean, and then U.S. is just kind of like how they go. Like it depends, I think, who their coach is, like who their coach is too.
Yeah.
But like this year their coach for the U.S. is Tony Granato, former Penn's assistant coach. And I'm like, I don't know, we'll see how the system goes. You know what I mean? And I'd like to wish those guys the best of luck. And
USA all the way.
But if you look at who they have on their team, it is quite scary, and it's scary in not a good way for the U.S. Because I mean, Brian Giunta is their biggest name, I would say.
Giunta, I haven't heard that name in a while.
He has a brother, Steven, that played, but Wisniewski, you remember he played for Carolina. Yeah. But and then we had 2 guys that used to play for us at least. You might know the name, you might not, which is David Leggio. Mikey said if there's a breakaway, there won't be a goal scored because Mikey he'll push the net off. He did that in the AHL.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and then Jordan Greenway actually, and Chris Bork plays for Hershey as well.
Chris Bork plays for Hershey. I know that.
But I forgot Mark Arcabello. I mean he's been around for a while, bouncing around. But I mean this just looks like. I mean it's going to be great to see how this developed for the U.S. I mean
Ryan Stoa.
Yeah, I think he played for I think he was on Hershey at one point.
Yeah, I remember the name.
Yeah, but I mean they have a couple young guys. Troy Terry just played in the World Juniors.
Yeah.
Greenway was in the World Juniors last year. I mean, you have some guys that were just recently there, and a couple young guys, but a lot of guys who that have been around the block for a bit. You know what I mean? I've seen some mileage. Like I'm happy for Bobby Butler, but there was I'm trying to think, where was it? It was an old thing. What is it? I forget which one. Wales or Scotland said back then. It was, "Don't come home too soon, please." Okay, like just stick around for a little bit. Make the games competitive. Make me be happy. Like make me happy. Please make them close.
I mean, if anything, the women's team, that's actually something I'm actually really looking forward to see too. Because I mean, they're competitive.
They are very good, but my only issue with the women's team, and I actually do love watching them play. If for some reason my wife ever divorces me, Hillary Knight, I'm available. Even though you tower over me, and I think you're dating Frederick Anderson. Like, I'm nowhere near Frederick Anderson.
I'll save you the time.
Yeah, no. Don't do it. You probably won't do it, but I'm no Frederick Anderson. That guy's gorgeous, and he's a ginger. He'll steal your soul. But like Brienne Decker, Lamoureux. I mean, they're all from a while, and I'm hoping. See, I don't know how much you watched them in previous years. I've watched them a little bit, and their biggest thing was Canada was their biggest thing. And for some reason, like when they played them last year, like it just didn't pan out. Like they just didn't. Yeah. They seemed to not have the stuff to get there, and it pains me. It pains to watch because they are if not top 3, they're top 2 in the world.
Oh yeah,
teams and the level of competition is not as big. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like when the Women's World Cup comes around. Unfortunately, the U.S. is expected, I feel like, to finish top or to make the gold medal.
There's a lot of pressure on them to maintain their status.
Very, very true, very true. And that's one reason why I would say like clearly they are better. Actually, shout out to Haley Scarapra, Rockville, Maryland.
I was actually just about to say, actually, Fallon knows her.
Yeah.
She actually went to school with her, and she I think she was initially cut, and then they actually asked her to come back and kept her around for a little while longer, and she actually made the team on the last cut.
Shout out to the 301. But that's another thing, and then Phil the Thrill's sister Amanda is on the team.
Really?
Yeah, she's been playing for the last couple of years. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. When you said Phil, I initially thought of Beer League Phil, Cobra's Phil. And I'm just sitting there going like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? And I didn't realize you were talking about Phil Kessel. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's obvious.
Sweet God, Matt.
I'm like, well, Phil's sister is playing. Isn't Phil like 50?
He's like 70, Matt. That's rude.
He acts like 50. Okay, if anything, you're being rude right now for calling him out on his actual age. Okay, I was trying to compliment the man.
Actually, I think he's like 57.
Yeah, I was about to say.
He's not 70.
Yeah.
Love you, Phil. But no.
Big Daddy Phil.
But no, that's another one. Like, I know Hillary Knight is not the captain, but she's probably an assistant most likely. And like I would say she's the face of the team.
Absolutely.
She's the biggest face on the team. I would say at least around the States.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, but it'll be interesting to see. The Lamoureux sisters have always been good. Of course, it's always hard to tell them apart because they're both blonde. It's not fair.
Are they twins?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I was about to say. So are they like the USA's Sedines or something?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
But I don't think not as like Daniel could throw the puck to Henrik.
Yeah.
Blindfolded.
Yeah.
Blindfolded and somehow hit some Sedin Swedish connection and be good.
They're telekinetically.
It's creepy. But I mean, U.S. going into that, they have their preliminary games for the U.S. women are a little more tricky. I would say. I mean, Finland off the bat, I think. They'll probably. I think this is really kind of speaking out of my ass, but I think they'll crush Finland on Sunday, and then Russia, maybe a little trouble if they let them play because the Russia's.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays.
No. They will let them play because it says Olympic athletes from Russia. So that's what it is. They're competing under the Olympic flag, but from Russia.
Yeah. So they're not allowed to they're not allowed to have Russian flags.
Well, that's what I mean. It doesn't say Russia, so they will let them play, and then we play Canada. So
I think I remember just seeing something a minute ago. They're saying they were unsure whether I didn't say all of them, but I think they said there were some
28 of them. I think.
But I said there were some athletes that weren't sure whether they were going to go play.
Yeah, but then we play Canada in the last game, the last preliminary game. And then you hit your quarterfinals. So I mean, we're expected Canada and U.S. we're expected to get out of it, or both of us are expected to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I think they only have 3 teams maybe in their bracket instead of 4. I think the men's have 4 teams in each one. But I mean, for U.S. women, it's gold or bust. I think.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and then.
No matter what, I think that should always be your mentality when going into any kind of tournament or anything. But I mean, I think there is a lot of expectations on them to maintain that and come home with the gold.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I'll definitely, now that I'm back on days, it looks like those games will be...
Welcome back to the real world.
Oh, yeah. Thank God. And we can do this any day of the week.
Hopefully a little more regularly and better scheduled.
Well, yes, when we can get everybody together. It's not, we don't have to cram it into one night out of the week, and everybody's dead tired.
Yeah.
But
the problem I'm going to have with the Olympics is trying to listen to them while I'm at work.
Well, that's why you have unlimited data.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, please. Headphones are going to be in. I mean, I'm obviously not going to be able to watch it, but I'll have to leave it in my pocket or something. But
yeah. But ladies, men, we're pulling for you. Do us proud. Flying Tomato, go win in the half pipe.
I love the Winter Olympics.
Yes, but one of the best times of the year, and then right after that, it's back to hockey. More hockey. Nothing else matters anymore.
Right.
Basketball's dead. To me, Maryland sucks.
I can't even tell you the last time I actually watched a basketball game.
Maryland basketball's in the toilet. It annoys me so bad. But everybody knows best. Don't text and drive, and we're out.